Here we are, dominating now. This is a 9-part series where I'm sharing my mind map with you on money, purpose, and human beings. Part 4, we're talking about social conditioning, i.e., the way we have been programmed to think, act, behave, talk by the society, school, church, friends, family, all those things. So it's like having natural hair. It needs to be soft. You have to deep condition your hair at least twice a month. That way your hair is very, very, very soft. It's easy to work with. You can really put it in, play around with different styles, right? And then it's bouncy and shiny. It does what you want when it's nice and soft and deeply conditioned. So like hair, human beings have been softened in a way that you now respond to other people's will. Why? Because over time you've been told certain things over and over again, such that it's embedded in your DNA, and if you're not aware that you're in prison, how would you get out of the prison when you don't even know that you're in prison in the first place? So that's how social conditioning works. You might not even be aware that you're doing what you're doing, not because you have instilled that program in you, but you're working based on other people's programming of you. So this video basically is just to highlight those tiny little, because the devil's in the details. So it's in those tiny behaviors that we just do unconsciously, and then you say things like, oh, that's just the way I am. It's not something as that's just the way you are, right? Because now we know that your DNA is simply a blueprint. You can put whatever programming you want so that you can get a different outcome. And since life is about growth, it means at every stage in life you want to get a different outcome. So social conditioning, number 1, we've been conditioned to ask for permission before we take action. For example, when you're in school, you cannot just say you want to just leave the class and go and pee. You have to ask for permission before you go and pee. You have to ask for permission before you leave to do. For example, I just want to pick up my sister. She can't just leave school. She had to ask for permission to leave through me. I had to send an email, right? So before you do anything in school, you have to ask for permission, and the school has set boundaries. You can't cross this line. For example, in her school, you can't walk like in front of the reception. Students are banned from walking there, so you have to go around. It's ridiculous, but I mean, if you don't follow the rules set by the school, you get punished, whether or not those rules make sense. So we spent 2 decades, about 20 years or so more, depending on if you're repeated or not, or if you're a genius or not. Well, we spend roughly an average of 2 decades of our lives in school, being told what to do by other people. So now, when you're thrown into life, those rules and regulations, that system that you thought you can easily apply in the real world, you find out that joke is on you, it does not work. So what do you do when you find out this is the situation? You have to unlearn all the garbage that has been installed in the brain, and then now figure out, decide, okay, who am I? What do I want? And see, that's where the hiccup comes, because I mean, I've coached a number of people, and there's this hesitation. It's like they have an idea of what they want, but to start is a problem. What will other people say? I don't have time. Or there's that thing of other people. There's an aspect of other people that stops us from taking action when we have an idea that we really want to see come to life. Why? We've been conditioned most of our lives to ask for permission. Now that we are aware of this situation, we can now take the power back and say to ourselves, you know what, this is what I want to do, and it's not just beneficial to me, it's beneficial to the world. Therefore, for the sake of the world, I'm doing the world a favor. I might as well just act now. That way we stop thinking so much about ourselves and feeding our ego, right? We begin to put ourselves in other people's shoes. You see, because when you deprive the world of your gift, you're being a wicked soul. a very wicked soul. But when you acknowledge your gift and you appreciate your gift and you're sharing that to the world, then we will be rewarded 1,000-fold. So this is not so much as, about you and what you want to do. Living on purpose means that we are living our lives in service to other people. So it's how influential are we such that other people's lives are better because of what we're doing. Look at my uncle Jeff Bezos and my uncle Mark Zuckerberg, and my auntie Beyonce, and my grandma Oprah. I think she's my grandma, right? Yeah, my grandma Oprah. They are confident in their abilities. They're not asking for permission, and they're not doing things the way everybody else is doing things. That's what makes them unique. That's what makes them outstanding. So you do not need anybody's permission to express your creativity. You do not need anybody's permission to be who you are. Obviously, being who you are means that being authentically what your soul is. So you're not going disrespecting people or doing things that will harm other people, because the real you, which is the Spirit of God, wants to share love and light, harmony and balance and overall abundance and success for the whole world to see. So another example of social conditioning, the idea that for you to start a business you need capital first. You don't need capital first, okay? Capital comes after there's a plan. There has to be a plan. There has to be an outline. There has to be a strategy. There has to be details of what it is that you want. But most times people say they want to start, and then because you're copying the completed actions, completed habits of other people that you see on social media or on TV, you feel that, okay, if you get a store now, if you get your website done, if you have your space, ta-da, your business is going. Meanwhile, you need to get trained on your leadership skills. You need to understand your marketing strategy. You need to understand your consumer behavior. You need to set up your system that is a scalable system so that when it's time for expansion, you know what and where and how to go about it. This is where the planning comes in, and this is what requires your mental strength and your will. And it takes time, because you really need to dig deep to know what you want and how you want to go about it. So you need to you can't go copying other people. There's nothing wrong with being a copycat, right? Just make sure you copy the right cat. But because we are all unique, the way you copy and the way I copy, it's not the same. So in the end, we'll have different outcomes. But first, that mental work needs to be done. And if you're being too lazy about it, because when you're on social media, you like and it's an instant, you comment and it's immediately. But planning for your business, which is going to carry you through generations, this is a vehicle that's going to feed not just you, your children, your grandchildren, and you don't want to take out the time, the few weeks or months it's going to take or years it's going to take to actually plan out a generational system. Or you do it for 1 week and you get bored and you're like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. You just start just like that. You see, when you're so quick to do without knowing how to do, if the knowledge backing your action is small, your outcome will be small, right? That's why a lot of people do so much, because then when you're doing, it looks like you're getting something done. Meanwhile, you're just busy for nothing, because you're not getting results. You're sweating and your sweat is wasting away. You're taking your seed and you're just throwing it everywhere, by the roadside, on the rock, inside the sand, in the clay. No. A good farmer that has sense has to test the quality of his seed, test the quality of the soil, make sure the two are compatible. Boom! You go through the process of clearing the ground, sowing your seed, removing the weeds, watering the plants, and then there's a waiting period where the rains will fall, and then you reap your harvest. But you want to go straight from idea and boom, you blow tomorrow. You will not blow tomorrow. until you sit down and plan. So that conditioning that you need capital, no, you do not need capital, you just need to plan first. When you plan, you begin to speak, right? You see, you have taken your thoughts to words on paper, it reflects in your actions, you begin to attract those people, those resources that you need. You won't have to be hustling like a bricklayer or like a danfo driver. You thrive like Jesus. He has swag. He was a boss. Hey. You don't just go out doing anyhow. You build yourself up in such a way that because you become so magnetic and attractive, people just come and flood you with everything that you need. And so you begin to have options. And because you have options, based on what you want, you just choose, I want this. And that way you go through the levels in life. So being aware of the conditioning, also the conditioning where you feel like everything is a competition. You know, somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. A winner and a loser. That is living in your lower self. That is you living in the third dimension where you are just surviving like a plant. You're not a plant, okay? You're a human being, you thrive. Human being, you have a brain. That's why you can calculate in a way that you can create a win-win situation for you and for the other person. You have to think about it. You have to train yourself to think that way, right? There's so many resources online. But this video is about making you aware, conscious of the fact that having a limited way of thinking gives you limited results. And if you're not aware that your thinking is limited, you continue to be in that circle of limitation until such time as you come into contact with another information that has such impact that it moves you out of that circle, right? So my question to you is, what do you have for the world to see? And how are you going to extract your creativity in a way that you are able to amplify for the world to see? That business, now you know that you do not need permission. It's going to take a while, right, for you to break down those constructs, which is why practicing affirmations is very, very key. You need to tell yourself, retell yourself who you are and the power that you carry. And saying words is not enough. You actually have to believe it. If you don't believe it, it's not going to work, right? So it's the power of belief, the biology of belief, right? You just need to Google Bruce Lipton and he will tell you all about it. It's absolutely fantastic and it will give you the power to start, excel, succeed, thrive, and just express that freedom that we are. I will see you in the next video.